Hi, today we're going to be taking an unboxing review look at Nintendo's 3DS LBX Little Bear's Experience video game. So yeah, you may be here's some history. You may be thinking, okay, we've seen the anime of LBX with the model kits, right? So how is it the game is based off of, the anime and the model kits? Actually, that is a mistake and it's wrong. Actually, the anime and the model kits are actually based off the game. It's reversed. How usually, first comes the anime and toy products, then comes the video games. This is actually reversed, where it's actually the video game came out first, and then they expanded by making the anime and, the model kits, toys and stuff, so that's how it is. Now, LBX is actually old. This video game is super old. I know, you might be like, what? No way. LBX Little Bear Experience 3DS. It came out like August 21st. It's new, right? Technically, it came out in Japan. So, LBX, the video game, actually came out in Japan, obviously. So, this is what new to us, in America and in Europe and, places like that. But actually, the LBX video game, it's old because of Japan. It came out, with LBX Denball Senki and LBX Denball Senki Wars, which was, before it was LBX here in America. So, yeah. And of course, they had, I believe they had the Nintendo DS, and then it was like PSP and then 3DS. I don't know if they have Vita edition yet, but I do remember the last one was like PSP, PlayStation Portable one. I don't remember if they have a Vita one yet. So yeah. Now, it's kind of funny. I pre-ordered this one because I called my store and I was like, hey, they're coming out. Can I still pre-order like a day before it comes out? They're like, yeah, okay. But we're only getting 2 in, so I was like, oh, cool, sweet. So I know I guarantee a copy. Wanted to pick it up, they're like, sorry man, we don't have it. What? I pre-ordered it. They're like, we know you pre-ordered, we have it on our website here on our computer, you pre-ordered, but we just didn't get our shipment in. It's like, oh, okay. Come back the next day. So I come back the next day to pick it up, but I am glad that I did pre-order it because they said that they ordered 2 and instead of the shipment they got like 7, which is low quality store. I guess they didn't think that it was going to sell too good, but it's okay, I guess. Now they do take different things from the actual anime show that was actually, was reversed for here in America, that we actually got to see the anime show first and then the toy line for the model kits and then, the actual video game, compared to Japan where it was the video game, the anime, and then the model kits and other sub-toys that they had and stuff. But that was, LBX Denball Senki and LBX Denball Senki Wars. So, let's kind of take it off from a little bit of the side and go on to the model kits. Unfortunately, I don't own any of the Japanese model kits. LBX Denball Senki, LBX Denball Senki Hyperfunction War kits. Now, there's 2 different LBX kits from the Denball Senki or Denball Senki Wars. There's, original kits, and then there's hyper functions. If you know how like Gundam kits work and stuff, there's like, SD kits, there's high grade kits, master grade kits, there's ones like that. Perfect grade kits. So that's how it kind of worked there in Japan. Like, I don't know if you remember or are familiar with a kit called Flame Arms. I don't have them yet. I think the company that makes it is Kiba Cody. I'm pretty sure I'm not saying that right, but to pronounce it, but I'm pretty sure that's close enough to the name. Pretty much, that's kind of the difference between LBX and LBX hyperfunctions. LBX is just like a well, like another Gundam kit that you put together, and hyperfunctions was more like the flame arms, where you actually get an exoskeleton, and then you have to put the so-called armor parts on top of it. Do any of you remember Metabots, where you had, you know, the tin pet, which was like the exoskeleton, and then you could put on meta parts, which was like, you know, to customize it to kind of create what type of robot that you want to have, where you could swap off arm parts, head parts, leg parts. Well, that's kind of what Flame Arms was, and the hyperfunction version of LBX is. So, let's move these guys up a little bit and take the game aside. So here's kind of what the kits look like for America. For the US model kits. There's only made 4 of them. Now there's 2 different set versions. There's like the $10 ones. They're super small. They don't have that much color. Very few pieces. They can't have different poses and articulate. To me, they are pretty much worthless. Then you have these ones, which runs you around about the 20 price range, which it's kind of high, but if you compare it to like a high grade Gundam model kit, it prices out about the same. And yes, there's still, you know, 4 in the smaller kits and the bigger kits. I definitely recommend going with, you know, the bigger $20 kits versus the $10 kits. Obviously, there's going to be more pieces, a little more articulated. You could get poses out of them for some of them. The one that has the most pieces in there would be LBX Emperor, which should be LBX The Emperor. I don't know why they took the word "the" out, because I guess maybe they didn't want to get confused with the Japanese LBX Denball Senki and LBX Denball Senki Wars, compared to the American, which was just LBX, Little Bear's Experience. So yes, these are officially licensed by Bandai. Bandai Japan. Well, Bandai of America, because there's apparently 2 different Bandai companies. There's, you know, the Japanese version and the American version. So, in the American version, they are under sprue kits. That's what the Bandai of America LBX boxes are going under. The sprue kits design. Now, it says sprue kits designed in Japan, but technically it's not. It's sprue kits designed in America. They were just like pretty much any other sprue kit that you get, you know, from Gundam series, you know. Pretty much you don't need to use side cutters. You know, a good pair of side cutters. You don't need to use them, just snap off with a little running sprue frame. No need for paint. No need for glue, but I guess you could buy special markers and stickers for them. Although for the American ones, they pretty much don't need it. Now, I had some fun building LBX Emperor, or LBX The Emperor. It's actually pretty cool. Hunter, on the other hand, yikes. His gun seems really flimsy, like super cheap plastic compared to Emperor's weapon, which is a little bit of filter plastic. Hunter, just the way how his legs are made, because he's kind of like a wolf. They got bent in a certain way, and it's hard to pose him. His arms keep popping off. It's hard for him to hold his gun. It's hard for him to kind of move his head so it could look down the scope of his gun. Like, it's actually supposed to be the other way, but from the pose you can see, if I zoom in on him, yeah, and he's real fragile. I mean, just a slight little touch, he'll fall over, his arms will come off. Yeah, he's one that kind of want to build it, display it, and forget about it, and don't touch it. While the Emperor is a little bit more forgiving. You know, you could maybe get into better poses and stuff. Now they do have the same thing, like this little cape on the Emperor. It's just made out of paper. I know the second wave of LBX in Japan, they changed it from, theirs was made out of paper, but then they changed it to actually like a cloth fabric, which was way better. We do get some battle parts in here. And by battle parts, I mean the parts that Japan had for their LBXs. Their LBXs had little chips in there, which are attached to the Wonder Flame, which just show like a little hand and stuff. Let me open up Hunter, just kind of show you. So the instructions are slightly different. I don't know why they made them so big, but if you can kind of get in there and see that. Nice picture though. The box art suffers a lot. Now in Japan, what you would do, you have to have two LBX model kits. You open up the boxes and then you flip them open, just like how, let me grab a Gundam box. I'm actually going to grab one of the SD boxes just so we kind of fit in camera here. So in the Japanese one, what you do is you take your box and then you open it up and flip it over like this. And inside there would be a battlefield. I think there was different battlefields like mountains and forests and stuff. Which was pretty cool because then you had to put your LBX in there and then kind of push the other one back. You build a little die and then you roll the battle die to determine how many moves and damage you do. And after on special battlefields, they would get like bonus points for like sniping in the forest versus, you know, maybe a spear or a sword in the desert type of thing. And by battle parts, if I could slice on these out of the bag here, these little guys right here. Now we do get the same ones, but little differences. There's no sticker telling you, you know, the hand is worth maybe 300 points, while maybe the sword for a weapon is worth maybe 900 points or something. We do not get little stickers to put on it, and we don't get the end caps to actually build a battle die, and we don't have a map to battle on, which clearly they could put an extra piece of paper here and just make it into, you know, one of these the paper maps, because obviously the way how the boxes open up, you know, with this little flap compared to how, yeah, Gundam ones open up, you know, where it's just like this. I do get why they kind of switch over from these type of boxes to, you know, these flap boxes with a little flap here, because I guess it's more of a anti-theft type of thing, so people won't open them up and steal parts out of them and stuff. So I do kind of get and understand that. But you do lose out that there is no end caps to build, you know, a battle die, and there's no little map to actually have for a battlefield, to actually have a battle if you, you know, have two LBXs to battle with. That's kind of a shame right there. So that's the difference between the American ones and the Japanese ones of the LBX model kits. I know I said I was going to unbox this. It should have been, you know, maybe a 3 or 4 minute video. I know it's way longer. But I wanted to get out the history that it actually started from the game and evolved to the anime and to the model kits, versus how most series are, where it's the anime, then it's, you know, the toys, and then it's the video game. Some different things between, you know, the American LBX, you know, model kits versus the Japanese LBX UNBOXiNG model kits. Hopefully you got some information. It's like, oh wow, I didn't know the video game came out first. Then was, you know, the other stuff. Or, wow, the American kits, they're not really worth it compared to the Japanese kits, but convenient, you know, seeing them in Toys R Us, which is where I usually pick them up. I heard that you could get them at Walmart. I had not seen them at Walmart. You know, I did see, you know, Bandai sprue kits there, but usually it's like Halo and stuff. But no LBX and no Pokemon. If you are looking for a Pokemon and Batman ones, Toys R Us is the one to go to. So, just to get this out of the way, the 4 spook kits that we have in America for LBX is Emperor, Achilles, Hunter, and Deku. Those are the 4. Are we going to begin the second wave, like Koichi? Are we going to begin, Pandora, Odeon, those ones? Probably not. So yeah, like in the back, this says, if my kick first, this game supports 2 to 6 local players play. Please note this title does not support download play or online play. Interesting fact. Right here, so LBX, there we go. Battle custom robots was up to 6 players, so it's kind of like if any play custom robo for Nintendo GameCube, it's kind of like that, but they said it has a little bit more options to customization stuff. Plays in 2D and 3D model for ages 7 plus. See bat way E for everyone, made by Level 5. On the bat, intense LBX battles on 2 screens. Show off your special LBX moves in 3D. Use items and special moves with simple touch controls. Touch and slide to easily equip parts. Customize your LBX. Customize weapons, core parts, and more to create the ultimate LBX. Unleash your LBX on Nintendo 3DS system. Battle your friends. In-game LBX cards. I don't know what the cards do. Cross and Castle Toys. So Castle Toys, if you know what, gashapon machines are in Japan, it works kind of like that. Those type of capsule toys compared to, American gumball ones, which are pretty much worthless. While the Japanese, gumball gashapon machines are obviously the best ones. Will be distributed through the internet content from 3-player co-op teams and 6-player wireless battles. Local play versus 2-player, download play versus 1-player, internet versus play. 2 players, 3 pairs connect to other Nintendo 3DS system. Fantasy Violence E10 Plus. So there's actually no artwork inside the box. I know some Nintendo boxes, when you open up, they have a nice artwork picture on the inside. This one doesn't. And lately, Nintendo's been getting real lazy in their instruction manuals. Like, this just tells you a warning, like, hey, don't drop it in water. Hey, don't, throw it on the street. When you get mad that you didn't win the battle. Simple stuff that you really don't even need to put this in here. It's not even an instruction manual. How does the LBX game card look? Pretty simple. I thought I would have a little bit more design to it, but it's okay. It's pretty cool. There is passwords here that you could put in there. It doesn't come in here, so you gotta figure out how to do that. There is download play for contents. That's already out now. You could get what they call Achilles Mark II, which is actually the second version of Achilles, or his upgrade parts. Which obviously, if you've seen the anime here in America, you know that's when Achilles gets destroyed. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, where Achilles actually gets upgraded to Odeon. Just like Hunter gets upgraded to Fenrir, Koichi gets upgraded to Pandora, and I forgot offhand what Emperor gets upgraded to, but it's like their upgrade parts. I don't know why in the game they're saying, hey, it's Achilles Mark II. No, it's not. It's Odeon. Yeah, how could they mess that up? But yeah. So yeah. And here, like it says, no download play does not work on the small sticker that they put on the back. And yet, on the actual game box it says, hey, download what's fun's already in it. Street Pass. Download local play. 2 people has 3DS and they're like facing each other. And the sticker on the back says, no, none of that. But this could be a mistake, and that could actually be right. So it could actually, work with Street Pass, download play, all that fun stuff. And the sticker could just be a mistake on there. I don't know, but yeah, hopefully, like I said, this is kind of a long video for unboxing on the video game. I know most of you will be like, ah, man, you said you're going to be doing a video game unboxing and you're not, it's taking so long. I just wanted to get the information out there about how the game started up, you know, and how it evolved from the Japanese series to the American series, how, you know, it was actually an old game in Japan because, you know, they had it first, and then it's new here in America, how, you know, evolved from the game and then the anime, and then, you know, the model kits versus how most animes were, where it's, you know, the anime toys and then the game, how, you know, there's only 4 for the American model kits versus tons for the Japanese model kits. How the American model kits, there's only go up to level 2, which is like the most experienced level in the LBX kits here in America, which is level 1. So yeah, there's only 4 here in America versus, like I said, tons in Japan for the model kits. What else? Oh yeah, like the model kits here in America, we don't get, you know, the battle die to build to, and the maps to actually play an LBX battle with our model kits versus, you know, the Japanese ones, where you could go ahead, build a model kit, battle, you could buy fat parts, you know, to make it look like thunder and lightning, a big blast explosion coming from your gun, or like a super energy wave coming from your sword. You don't get like extra parts to buy, like sub parts, you know, where you could put on a new sword, a new gun, new hands, you know, like those parts. Kind of like if you're familiar with Gundam Built Fighters and Gundam Built Fighters Tri, where they have the ARMS series, which is just, you know, extra weapons and upgrade backpack boosters and stuff. It's kind of like that, but of course, you know, it's like the Gundams only for the Japanese ones, nothing for the American ones. So hopefully, by watching this video, you got a lot of information about the game, some information about the anime, some information about the model kits if you are interested in the model kits, and saying, is it worth it to buy, you know, the 4 that we have in America, or, yeah, forget it. I'll just go, you know, online to anime, you know, shops online, and just buy them there, or like Amazon and shops like those online, and buy the Japanese ones. So yeah, hopefully, you know, you got a lot of information, you know something about the game, the anime, the different model kits, what you're getting, what you're not getting, what's the American versus the Japanese one, versus, you know, the core fitter, versus, you know, just a simple build, and super simple builds and stuff. So yeah, thank you for taking your time out to watch this video all the way to the end. If you did, thanks, because I know it's a lot for unboxing, which usually is, you know, a couple minutes unboxing. You know, how bad is that? You know, it's like, here's the game, here's what the game looks like, that's it. But I wanted to get all the information out because of how LBX has evolved, you know. The game, then this other part of the series versus, you know, how it's the other series and then the game. The difference between the 2 toys, you know, the American versus the Japanese toys. So hopefully